welcome to the deep dive. If you've been watching the enterprise tech space lately, it feels like there's this massive gap between the AI hype and what's actually happening on the ground.
Oh, absolutely.
We see these incredible demos, right? Jaw-dropping proofs of concept,
Yeah.
lots of pilots, but then actually getting that generative power into a reliable, secure, day-to-day workflow, it just stalls.
Yeah, that's the reality check hitting a lot of organizations. The source material really highlights this. You've got these super potent models, but teams, they're still bogged down in manual stuff.
Exactly.
Chasing approvals, copying files, pasting charts. You know the drill. The solution isn't just here's another chatbot. It's missing that system to tie the AI, the security, and the actual company data together.
Okay, so that sets us up perfectly. Today, we're diving into Google Gemini Enterprise. It's positioned as more than just another tool, maybe the single front door for integrating AI properly.
That's the pitch.
So our mission is to unpack it. What is it, really? Why is this approach supposedly different? And crucially, we need to understand the two tiers they offer, business and enterprise, because that choice seems pretty fundamental for security and, well, scaling up.
Okay, so Gemini Enterprise. It sounds like it's trying to be more than just a place to, ask an LLM a question. The goal seems to be shifting AI from these single one-off prompts towards what they're calling orchestrated work. How's the platform actually built to do that?
Well, it really comes down to blending three layers that usually live apart. You've got the models themselves, right, the Gemini models, but then crucially, you have agents that use those models.
Agents, okay.
And then the third piece is secure connectors that link everything back to your company's data, your systems. So it becomes this hub where the software doesn't just analyze, it can actually take action, calculated action.
And taking action. That definitely moves us into this idea of the agentic pattern. That sounds like the core technical idea here, doesn't it? It absolutely is. And it's a pretty profound difference from, say, traditional automation, which often waits for a very specific trigger and can be quite brittle.
Right.
An agent in this model is designed to sort of notice things, decide what to do based on its plan and tools, and then do it. It pairs the smart model with a plan, a specific set of tools it's allowed, and, importantly, guardrails.
Okay, I like the sound of guardrails. But the second you let software do things, accountability becomes, well, everything. What happens if an agent messes up? How do you prevent, speed with chaos?
That is the make or break feature, really. Built into this agentic pattern is this idea of a trace you can audit.
A trace?
Yeah. Every single action the agent takes, every decision, which tool it used, what data it looked at, it all gets logged. And not just basic logs, it's the decision log.
Okay.
So if something goes wrong or the output isn't right, you can instantly see the inputs, the steps it took, and crucially, proof it stayed within its designated lane. That's how you get that speed with accountability.
Got it. So it's a trust mechanism, essentially. Okay, walking through the features then. Beyond the models, what's the quickest way for a company to actually start using this, to get something working?
The fastest route is definitely the no-code workbench. This is potentially a game changer because it lets people who aren't developers, the actual domain experts, build their own agents.
How does that work?
They basically just describe the task in natural language. Like a paralegal could say, okay, I need an agent that reads incoming vendor contracts, finds any clause about exclusivity or unlimited liability, and gives me a bulleted summary.
Wow, okay.
Then they just wire it up to the contract storage, set the security permissions, and the agent can be up and running.
So you're enabling the experts themselves, not just the IT department, to build these complex workflows. And it sounds like there's a central place to track everything, plus connections to major systems like Salesforce, Workday, SAP, the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. It's meant to be comprehensive, but, all that capability doesn't mean much without the right data context. That's always the first big hurdle for any kind of enterprise AI agent.
All right.
If the agent can't securely access the real specifics of your business, your internal policies, your sales figures, your unique processes, it's just going to go, well, the sources say it'll hallucinate authority it does not have.
Ah, okay. Good phrase.
The whole value proposition relies on it being smart because it has your specific context securely.
And getting that context means connecting to systems all over the place, I imagine, not just Google Docs and email, right?
Oh, definitely not. It's the whole picture. Yes, Workspace, M365 for files and mail, the obvious stuff. But also the big systems, your CRM, your ERP, the data warehouses like BigQuery or Snowflake. Those are the agent's eyes and ears, basically. They make sure the answers are based on evidence, not just generic knowledge.
Okay, but connecting agents to all that sensitive data, security has got to be priority number one.
Yep.
The source material mentions two key security principles. Let's take the first one, access.
Right, that's least privilege access. The simplest way to think about it is like hiring a temp. If you hire someone just to look up numbers in one specific report, you don't give them keys to the whole building, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
You give them very limited, maybe time-boxed access just for that task. It's the same idea here. The agent gets credentials and tokens that are narrowly scoped. So a marketing agent needing read-only access to brand assets, it literally cannot write to the finance department's planning spreadsheet. It's the fundamental defense against things going wrong.
Okay, that makes sense. Limited blast radius. And the second principle is about transparency, which seems to link back to that audit trace you mentioned. This is observable context. Who's actually using this? What are they looking for?
So observable context is mainly for the IT and security teams, also for the people building the agents when they're debugging. They're looking at that audit trail to check basically three things. One, what data did the agent actually pull? Two, why did it pick that data source instead of another one? And three, critically, did it stay within its security sandbox the whole time?
Got it.
It's the proof that the governance is actually working. You can watch the decision process, which is, essential for compliance and audits.
Okay, this leads us nicely into the real-world application. When these agents are properly grounded in data and governed securely, the change for the actual human workers could be huge. People stop being the glue between different tools.
Exactly.
The sources highlight four main transformation patterns. Let's walk through those.
Yeah, these are where you start seeing the immediate payback, the ROI. It's about cutting out that organizational friction, as they call it.
Okay, let's start with marketing. Often feels like they're drowning in random requests and scattered info.
Right. So in marketing, the agent can act like a central coordinator for content. Think about, say, a new product launch. Instead of the team manually digging up brand guidelines from one place, tech specs from another, legal disclaimers from a third, the agent does that heavy lifting. It gathers the facts, drafts initial creative ideas maybe tailored for different audiences, populates the content calendar, and even pushes the final pieces into the review workflow.
Oh.
The team shifts from constantly reacting to just managing a steady drumbeat of output. More velocity, same team size.
Saves a ton of coordination.
Yeah.
Now, what about sales? It's often less about creativity and more about speed, consistency, and frankly, getting data into the CRM.
Exactly. Sales agents focus on that consistent hygiene work that often gets skipped but really impacts conversion rates.
Like what specifically?
Okay, so after a sales call, the agent could read the transcript, pull out the key commitments and customer pain points, automatically update the right fields in Salesforce or whatever CRM you use. It could even flag potential risks based on sentiment analysis and draft a personalized follow-up email for the rep to quickly review and send. The salesperson spends basically zero time on data entry, all their time selling.
That's a big deal. Okay, engineering teams. They often talk about drag, slowing them down. How do agents help there?
For engineers, it's often about the code assist feature, which goes way beyond just suggesting the next line of code.
Right, like autocomplete on steroids.
Sort of, but deeper. It can catch subtle bugs, suggest full test suites needed for a change, and this is huge. Help developers understand complex, maybe legacy code bases.
Navigating old code.
Hey, if you inherit some massive, unfamiliar module, the agent can explain what a tricky part does, saving hours of just cognitive load trying to figure things out.
I can see that being incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
Lastly, finance and operations. They seem to live in a world of data reconciliation.
Reconciliation, hell yeah. And that's exactly what these agents are designed to tackle. They're really good at comparing data across different systems like GL data versus departmental spend logs. They can draft variance analyses automatically, pinpointing outliers or anomalies and showing the math behind it. It shifts finance from just reporting history to proactively finding cost savings or even potential fraud much earlier. They create real analysis time, not just more meeting prep time.
Okay, so this functionality sounds powerful, which naturally leads to the cost and scaling question. The platform comes in two main versions, Business and then Enterprise Standard Plus. It sounds like choosing between them is a big decision, maybe less about price and more about risk and regulation.
That's exactly right. You're essentially choosing the level of governance and security infrastructure your specific business needs.
So let's break down the business tier first. It's listed at $21,100 per seat per month. Who's that really for? What are its limits?
Business seems geared towards smaller companies, maybe specific departments within a larger org, or for initial pilots, there's a cap, 300 seats. It gives you the full no-code builder we talked about, the pre-built Google agents, and solid baseline security. It's kind of the quick start option if you need the functionality fast without needing the, let's say, hardcore governance features. Plus, you get 25 gigs of pooled storage per seat.
Right. But then Enterprise jumps to $30 per seat per month. That's, what, nearly a 50% increase. If a company isn't dealing with high payout data, for instance, how do they justify that extra cost? What does that $9 a month actually buy you?
It buys you advanced governance, basically, and scale. Enterprise is built for those large, maybe global rollouts with complex needs, no seat limits. That extra cost unlocks features that are non-negotiable for highly regulated industries.
Let's dig into some of that jargon. We see things like VPC service controls, customer-managed encryption keys. What do those mean in plain English for someone listening?
Okay, think of them as building a fortress around your data. VPC service controls, basically creates a secure network perimeter. It ensures that the agent's interactions with your sensitive data never leave your trusted network. Like a digital fence, the agent works inside it, the data doesn't go out onto the public internet.
Got it. Data isolation.
Exactly. And CME, customer managed encryption keys, means your organization, and only your organization, holds the cryptographic keys to encrypt and decrypt the data the agent uses. Not even Google can access the raw data without your key. It's the highest level of control.
And that control connects directly to compliance, right? You mentioned HIPAA, FedRAMP High.
Absolutely. HIPAA for patient health info, FedRAMP High for sensitive government data. You simply cannot legally or securely handle that kind of data using the business tier. You need the advanced controls in Enterprise. That's why for healthcare, finance, government contractors, Enterprise often becomes the only viable option.
Okay, so the security and compliance angle is clear. Beyond that, does Enterprise offer anything extra for, say, big engineering teams that might justify the cost?
It does. You get the full Agent Development Kit, ADK. This is for your professional developers who need to build really complex custom agents, maybe integrating deeply with specialized internal systems or third-party tools.
So more power for the devs.
Right. Plus, Enterprise includes Code Assist Standard built in, and you get significantly more pooled data storage up to 75 gigs per seat versus 25 for business. So the takeaway really is, if your use case involves regulated data or requires that extreme data isolation or needs heavy custom development, Enterprise pretty much pays for itself right away.
Okay, so you've chosen a tier, but getting this adopted requires building trust. You can't just flip a switch and launch hundreds of agents. The sources emphasize a practical playbook for building momentum.
Right. Start small, improve the value. They suggest picking lighthouse workflows. What kind of metrics should teams be looking at there?
The advice is to pick 2 high-visibility workflows.
Yeah.
One that directly impacts revenue, like that sales follow-up agent we discussed.
And one that improves an internal process, maybe like the finance reconciliation one. Then define really clear, measurable success metrics. Are we reducing cycle time, cutting error rates, improving user satisfaction, tangible stuff?
And step 2 is crucial. Wire data with intention. Start read-only whenever possible, enforce that least privilege principle rigorously, and only grant more access when the results clearly justify it.
Exactly. Crawl, walk, run.
And I like the idea of treating the agent like a real software product, giving it a name, a dedicated page.
Sure.
That seems smart for managing expectation.
It's critical, actually. The sources call it publish like a product. Give your agent a name, Connie the contract review bot or whatever.
Yeah.
Make a short video. Here's what Connie does. Here's what Connie doesn't do. That last part is key for managing risk and making sure people understand the guardrails. You treat it like living software, measure it, improve it, retire it if it's not working.
So pulling this all together for the final decision.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate goal? What framework should people use?
The goal is finally getting out of pilot purgatory and seeing real, measurable business outcomes from AI. The choice, fundamentally, isn't build versus buy anymore. It's between letting AI efforts remain scattered, maybe risky tools, versus implementing a coherent, governed system.
Right.
And before you even talk to sales, the recommendation is to have a checklist ready.
Okay, what's on that essential checklist?
Basically, a summary of everything we've covered. 1, define 3 specific use cases with clear metrics. 2, list every data system those agents need to touch. 3, decide who internally owns building and maintaining those first agents. And 4, crucially, Get IT and security aligned beforehand on which tier you need and what the governance policies are. Have answers to those, and you've got a plan, not just a wish list. #outro. And when you connect all these pieces, the agents, the data, the audit trails, the governance Gemini Enterprise is really trying to ensure everything is visible, traceable, and secure. That rigorous approach seems to be the key to actually scaling AI safely.
That governance piece really brings us to our final, provocative thought for you, the listener. The real bottleneck to scaling AI in your organization might not be finding slightly better models. It might actually be defining the precise criteria under which your IT and legal teams will sign off on putting an AI agent into production. Think about it. If an agent fails or does something unexpected, what specific events will you feed into your SIEM system? What alerts will actually fire? Answering that very practical operational question might be the difference between your AI rollout looking like a well-executed plan or just a hopeful experiment.